So they were following this developing story in Nisswa for the last couple of weeks. Calls for the mayor to resign, and Simone Woolridge actually covered this for us last week, and then now a little bit more of a development from last night. Yeah. So just Jennifer Carnahan is at the center of this. She was elected mayor of Nisswa. She served as a few years as chair of the Minnesota GOP, so if you know that name. Also was married to Representative Jim Hagedorn, who passed away in 2022. So if that name is familiar, that is who's at the center. Okay, right, so bring us up to speed here.
Okay, there's a lot to talk about. Okay. So if you missed last week, it kind of just continues over from last week's drama. I think we can call it at this point because there's a lot going on here. So I guess we'll start with last night, and then I can take you back just a little bit. So last night, the council did approve a few things. There were a few motions that were put forward. One of them, the council asked the city attorney to prepare a resolution of no confidence and also no contest, and I should say no contest, excuse me, a censure vote, I should say.
Censure vote, yes,
and to remove her from committee assignments. So that went to her attorneys to see if there was any code of conduct that would have, been, I guess, messed up by her. Like, did she mess up in any way?
Right.
They ended up saying nothing there.
Okay.
Is what she says that her attorneys say. It gets confusing.
It really does.
It all stems from this particular incident that happened last month. There was a woman, the mayor was out, and this woman overheard her. She said she was talking loud, and the mayor, this is according to this woman, the mayor was discussing how to get rid of a sitting council member. So then the mayor then sees this woman later on, I believe in that day. They then get into some sort of argument. There was a conflict there. The mayor then accused that woman, and you might hear it in the soundbite coming up. They refer to her as Miss Foster. That's her last name. They ended up getting into some altercation. The mayor then accuses her of assault. Now, this has been dismissed twice. This woman has not been charged. So what the council is trying to say is, like, at this point, this woman has been embarrassed by a lot of, this chain of events that's happening. You're being accused of assault. This is a sitting mayor. And so this has caused a lot of disarray, between some of the sitting council members here. So they spent over 20 minutes talking about this last night. I just listened to all of that. They also welcomed public comment as well. So I think we should just maybe take a listen to because this is the first time that we have heard from Mayor Carnahan. We did reach out to her last week. She did not go to that meeting last week, that special meeting that was called. She did send us a statement last week after the meeting, but this is the first time that we have heard from her. So this is her account, a little bit of her account of why she did not attend last week's meeting, and also a little bit of her account of what happened. Let's listen to that.
When a resolution conflicts with the Constitution always prevails. And last time I checked, we were living in America, not communist China. And I am very proud to be living in America. Accordingly, any censure or similar symbolic action, again, whether it's done tonight or in January, does not establish policy or accountability. Prolonging this process only consumes taxpayer time, staff time, and resources, which is not what I believe our community expects from us on this council. So I believe it is time for us to move forward, get back to business at hand, and put these disputes to the side. And so that is why I was not here Wednesday. Councilmember Fraley, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I was just wondering why you didn't reach out to the young lady when she sent the email to you and have a discussion with her and possibly Councilmember Zahn, who, according to this young lady, the conversation was on how to humiliate him and have him resign from office. Why didn't you reach out to her and sit down and talk?
I'm not going to get into a tit for a tat or a he said or she said. There were certain people at the meeting that I was at, which was to talk about the 2026 budget. And another topic of conversation was the local option sales tax. And explaining that and how some residents and business owners met. So I'd like to keep focused on business at hand and not get into down in the weeds on this.
But you didn't answer my question.
I respectfully decline.
All right.
Councilmember London.
My question would be the same as Councilman Fraley's about what occurred and why did it occur.
I don't think people can hear you.
That'd be my question. Same thing as Councilman Fraley. is what happened at the Business in Brainerd when you had these conversations with your companions about Councilman Zahn.
Yeah, and again, I've put out a press statement on that, and I've shared my perspective here, so I don't have anything to add at this point. I think it's better to keep focused. We have a full agenda to focus on the actually doing the city's business tonight. Councilmember Zahn.
I think this is a part of the city's business. It's not the most desirable thing to have to talk about, but accountability has to be discussed. Otherwise, well, what separates elected officials from their dual hats as citizens and council members or mayors? I'm going to clarify one thing in regards to a comment you made, Mayor Carnahan, that I don't think that this is even remotely close to personal for anybody up here. And I want to be very clear with that. It's the conduct of a sitting mayor in the general public, regardless of who was talked about, it was heard per that email and per the statement, not just by one, but multiple employees of that business and multiple customers of that business. It was brought through the proper channel to email directly to you. And Councilmember Hall was included on that email. Not sure why, but he was. That was an opportunity to be able to respond to that, to Ms. Foster in regards to why you felt it was appropriate to discuss those specific items in regards to trying to, quote, embarrassing me and perhaps I will then resign. I don't take any personal stab at that. It is what it is.
Yeah, so that was Councilmember Zahn, and last week Councilmember Zahn requested her resignation. She then, in the meeting last night, she doubled down and said that she will not, and that's what she said in her statement to us last week. She said she has no plans on resigning. She says that the city of Nisswa, they elected her to be mayor, and that's where she will stay.
Okay,
So,
and we've reached out to her since last night as well?
I reached out to her this morning, maybe a couple of hours ago, on 2 email addresses. So I have not heard back yet, but I just wanted to see if she had any comment after last night's meeting, and also an interview request as well.
All right, we'll continue to follow it. Thanks for breaking that down for us. Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, all day long.